Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Today's Easter Sunday. We got a great day and we're just waiting for our Easter Sunday ham. And we've been working on a project here, and it's so exciting that I have to share it with you. All right, what you're looking at here is, this is our garden. All right, today's what? Well, Easter Sunday, so whatever day that is. This is our garden. And you can see it's all brown. We haven't done anything to it yet. We haven't done any planting, and I guess around here we don't really plant until about May 30th or so. So I guess what you're supposed to do is go and rent a rototiller and till it all up and all that good stuff. But what we decided that we would do this year is a project where we utilize these animals. These are Mangalitsa pigs, of course, the only legal ones in the state of Michigan, I guess, right now. And these guys are about 6 months old, maybe a little bit older. And I've got 50 of them over there, but we just brought over 5 of them. Now what we've done is we've fenced a section of the garden off with temporary fence. Let me show you what that looks like. Alright, there's 2 components or 3 components to it. This is a poly wire fence. You can get this at Tractor Supply or Farm and Fleet or anything like that. A roll of this is about 20 bucks, and this will last you a long time. And it's not disposable. I mean, it will last many years if you take care of it. You got to put it in the winter time. But it's got a filament in it that's steel. This one actually has 2. Very high conductive steel wire, and the poly. It's got a smell to it, and the animals will smell this and they'll associate it with the shock that they get on their nose. Okay? The other thing you need are these posts, and you know, I've used these in other videos, but what we did this time is we put these insulators on them. It's just a screw-on insulator, right? And we can set them any height we want. This post, look, if you look down here, they step in just like that. And then we can set these to any height that we want, right? This post is about 2 bucks, lasts for a long time, and these insulators, I think 75 of them are 5 bucks. So it's a cheap setup, okay? Then the third component is the fencer. Maybe you can get right over here. This is a little solar fencer. I think it's a 2-mile fence, but I'm only using, you know, maybe, a very small section of the garden here. Very small section. It's got a little switch on the bottom of it. It's got a solar panel. This is about 100 bucks, and I've had this one for about 4 years now. All right, so you can get a lot of mileage out of them. And when they break, they are fixable. So. And there's many different kinds. I'm not really advocating this kind, but that's what they have at our Farm and Fleet store. Let me show you what I've done. I've done a couple things here. Now this pile right here is a pile of manure from where I fed the cows all winter long. So you can see there's definitely cow manure in here, and it's dried out, and it would have to be composted before we could put it in the soil. But now when I dump it right here, the pigs will go through that, and they will take out everything that they can find, every root like that, and they'll turn that root that's actually good food for them. They need that. And they'll take minerals out of the soil here, but they'll put a lot of it back too. Once this stuff is broken down, it's very beneficial for the soil. Now, what you see right here is a quackgrass root. And this is, I guess you'd call it an invasive species. I don't know if it's native here or not, but this stuff will take over. It'll do it in the season. What pigs will do is they'll go down and they'll get every piece of this and they'll eat it. That's why they want it. They want to eat it. And if we look over here, here's one of them doing exactly what we want him to do. He's got his nose in the soil, and he's already done this digging right here. Now they're not real heavy, so they're not going to compact the soil. They're going to do more fluffing than anything. And they'll get in there and they'll eat every piece of this that they can find. You see that action right there? Now, one of the things to know about pigs is every muscle in their body is connected to their nose. So in order to keep them healthy, they need to do what that one's doing right there. That's a sow, by the way. So she's going to go through and she's going to take all of this out, and in the process she's getting a lot of exercise to, you know, those muscles in her back and the muscles in her haunches here and her front shoulders. Real good for her. If we were to go through the garden, let's say with a rototiller, it would look good. It would really look good for a little while. But what you do with a rototiller is you break all of these roots. You break them. And then instead of one root, you have two. And so on. A lot of times with a rototiller, you can break one of these things 10 times, and then your quackgrass will just go crazy. All right. Now, another thing that's good about doing it with pigs is, well, we're sitting up there at the campfire enjoying a cool drink. The pigs are down here working, and they'll work like this all day, every day, until there's nothing left here. And then we'll know, because we'll see them reaching through the fence, we'll hear them getting shocked, and then it's time to move them to the next section. Now, as any type of grazing that you do with animals, what you have to do is you have to limit them to a relatively small space. So we've got probably 1,000 square feet right here. Yeah, 1,000, maybe 750 square feet here. And I've got 5 pigs in here. And what we'll do is we'll come back in a couple of days and we'll show you the job that they've done. And you know, you have to watch it because you don't want them to turn the ground sour. You just want them to go through and get everything out of it that they can. Let's say that you go and do a soil sample, and let's say you're deficient in calcium. Well, what you can do is then you can get a good source of calcium, and you can make sure it goes into their feed, and then they'll disperse it out, they'll manure it out. Let's say it was calcium you needed, you could just get a pile of eggshells and then just sprinkle them out here. They'll find them, eat them, and then they'll manure them back. Now, we've got 30 days before we're going to plant this, and you know, there's really no problems as far as their manure being in the soil. It's out in the sun, it's going to get dried up really quickly. You will hear things about separation of produce and animals. It's been done like this for lots and lots of years, and we've personally done it for a lot of years, and we've never had a problem with it. Let me show you how I got these pigs over here. You might remember the feral child trap. This is a trap that we use for moving pigs around, because pigs like this, they're 100 pounds. They're not going to go where you want them to go. If they know you want them to come over here, they're going to go any place but here. So what we do is we have this cage. This was a tote for, I think it was probably fertilizer or paint or something like that. And we took the bladder out of it, and we just have the cage now. I cut some of the pieces out, welded in this track, and then this piece of steel. We can tie it up, and then when they go in there after we're just close it. If you don't have a front end loader, what a person could do is actually put this on wheels, and then you can pull it over by hand. The other way to get them where you want them to go is build a corridor with this type of temporary fencing, and they will move. Now, this is our personal, we call this the herb garden, and we grow the stuff in here for our family. The fence, the field that's out here, this is our produce field, and you can see I fed cows out there this winter. You can see all that, there's even a cow out there now. And underneath all that hay that they didn't eat, there's still ice, and that'll be there for several more weeks. Now, when we put the pigs in there, they'll get after that ice because that's going to be their source of water. And we want that because we want them to turn all that stuff up out there. You know, I don't want to have to go through with a rototiller because it's really counterproductive. Rototillers really are counterproductive. Not that I don't use them occasionally, but this is a better way. Now, pigs like this could stay on a section just like this for their entire life. You would have to feed them, and the ground would get a little packed down and it would sour after a while. So that's the whole idea of having a temporary fencing system. You can move it to a fresh plot of ground, and then even if you don't want to grow anything, you can just plant it back to something like turnips that grow very easily, and then you can bring the pigs back on it, you know, later in the season. So how do you get these pigs? Well, we happen to have about 100 of them that were born just recently, and we're going to schedule a pig day probably in about 5 weeks. So we'll get all the pigs castrated, and we'll wait about a week until they're all healed up, and then we're going to have a pig day, and that's where you can come and you can pick up your pig on a Saturday. And then we'll probably have the farm opened up so people can walk around and see what's going on here. And maybe people can meet each other that are going to be raising these Mangalitsa pigs. And then we can share some of our ideas with you as far as butchering and charcuterie and meat preservation and things like that on that day. So that day will be coming your way here soon. We'll end this video and get it up so we can get to the next video, which will be to show you how well they turn this up. Now, what's really cool is the weeds that are in your garden that were left here from last fall. These pigs are going to turn them into pork for you to eat, and you don't really have to do much except set the fence up and make sure that they get water every day. That's about all you have to do. So it's a great system. The animals are working for you instead of against you, because a lot of times when you have pigs, you know, you try to contain them and they find a way to get out, because what do they want to do? They want fresh ground to root around in and sniff through. And it seems like they're working against you. But you just have to understand what they want to do and then give it to them. And they'll be real good helpers for you. So this is Mark from Baker's Green Acres. Remember, anyone can farm. Thanks.